girl Renee, and today we're going to be cooking in the kitchen with me, Renee. And today we are going to be making some persimmon cookies. This is a recipe that my mother has been making me for ever since I was a little kid, and I love these cookies. So let me tell you exactly everything you're going to need, and then we'll get this persimmon cookie making going. All right, so the first thing I need you to do is to preheat your oven to 350 so that can get going while we get all our other ingredients rounded up. So you're going to need a teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to need a teaspoon of nutmeg. You're going to need a teaspoon of some cloves, some ground cloves. And you're going to need a teaspoon of some baking soda. And you're going to need 1 large egg. You're going to need 2 cups of this fabulous flour. And you're going to need a 1/2 cup of butter or margarine. And you're going to need a cup of sugar. You're also going to need a cup of, you can do walnuts or you can do pecans, and I'm doing pecans, and I'm going to put those in my little mini food processor and grind them all up. And you can also do raisins if you like. I don't like raisins in my cookies, so I'm not putting them in there. You're going to need some cooking spray. You're going to need a baking cookie sheet. And we're going to grease that and all that good stuff. And you're also going to know you need 2 persimmons. These were 2 persimmons that Bernie got me when she went to Costco's. So you're going to need 2 of these. And if you don't know what and you're going to have to know exactly what they look like. So these persimmons, as you can see, are real easy. Let me pick it up. I wash my hands. My hands are clean. See how nice and squishy they are? That's the way you need your persimmons to be, because we're going to put them in the food processor, or we can just smash them up with the fork and they will be nice and pureed. All right. And because these persimmons didn't ripen as quickly as I would like them to, so as they ripened, I put the puree in Ziploc bags and put them in the freezer so I would have them ready to go when it was time to make my persimmon cookies. So that is all the ingredients that we are going to need. So let's get this bad boy rocking. All right, so you're going to dissolve your 1 teaspoon of baking soda into your pureed persimmon. So let me show you what that's going to look like. Let me show you how I am going to smash these so I can make them nice and soft. So let's get this counter straight so you can see what I am doing. So as you can see, my bowl right here, and I have some persimmons in there, and I am just taking my fork and I am just smashing them to make sure you get all the lumps out. Which I have. And then I'm just going to pour this puree that I have in a Ziploc bag into the bowl as well. Get all that goodness in there, because we want it to have that taste of persimmons. Mash that real good. And then we're going to put the 1 teaspoon of baking soda in there. And we are going to mix that all together. It's okay if you have a little bit of the lumps of the puree in there, of the persimmons, because that just makes it better when you bite into it and you get a delicious piece of chunkiness of the persimmon. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to take our flour that we have here, our 2 cups of flour, and we're going to add our cinnamon in there. We're going to add our allspice, our nutmeg, and we're going to put our Oh, I forgot to tell you, you need a half a teaspoon of ground cloves. Put that in there. And we are going to incorporate that into our bowl. And we're going to mix those all together. Because you know you want to mix all your dry ingredients together. It looks fabulous and the cloves smell so good. Alright. Let me get this all cleaned up and I'll be right back with the second part of making these delicious persimmon cookies. We have combined our flour and all our spices into our bowl, and we are going to set that aside. Next thing we're going to do is that we're going to cream our butter, and then we're going to add our sugar. So we have our half a cup of butter in there. Let me move you up so you can see. Then we're going to add our cup of sugar. And then we're going to add our 1 egg. And we are going to cream it up, and then we'll add our persimmons into the mix. So here we go. I'm supposed to cream this so it's nice and fluffy. Look nice and fluffy. And we're going to start adding our persimmons into the mix. That looks fabulous. And I'll show you what it looks like once I get it all cleaned up and it's looking good. Now we're going to start adding our dry ingredients into our mixture. And I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. My mother always said, when you see that cloud of smoke, that means you are doing something. You're putting a delicious meal together. So let's add some more. Come on, cloud. Show me what I'm working with. It's so good. Alright, we got a little bit more flour to go. Just dump the rest of it in there. I didn't have to bring out my big KitchenAid because this is just a little bit of persimmon dough that I'm making. So good. And now we're going to add in our nuts that I have already put in my processor. And here are my nuts that I already put in my processor. I'm going to shake a little bit of that in there. I mean, you can use pecans, you can use walnuts, whatever nuts you prefer. I just enjoy the pecans. More in there. Get all that goodness in there. And then once you get this all incorporated, then we're just going to grease our cookie sheet, and then we're going to drop this onto the cookie sheet and put them in the oven for 15 minutes. And then we'll be having some good persimmon cookies. Alright, let me show you what it's supposed to look like. See how the dough looks? And we're going to just spoon those onto a cookie sheet. And then when I get that all done on the cookie sheet, then I will show you what that looks like. Okay guys, I have sprayed my cookie sheet with my Pam spray. And now we are going to just use our spoons and we're going to drop this cookie dough onto the baking sheet. Put it in our oven that we already preheated at 350. And we're going to let them cook for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, I'll come back and show you the goodness. Alright, usually what I do is I just scoop some in a spoon and then I just use another spoon to take it out. So I'm just going to scoop and lay these bad boys on here. This is how my mom used to do it. So, Mom, I'm still carrying on the tradition with our persimmon cookies. And I just use the back of the spoon and I just put it on, push it on off. Push it on off. I'm telling you, when you use like nutmeg and cloves and cinnamon, ugh, your kitchen smells so good. So good. I couldn't wait when I knew my mother was making these. When I would come home from school, you know, after school you want to chit-chat with your friends. I said, nope, I gotta get on home. My mama's making me a treat today. And then the very next day, I would bring some of these to school and let some of my friends have the enjoyment of tasting some of these beautiful persimmon cookies that my mother would make. And at bake sale, they would always ask, is your mother going to be making some of them persimmon cookies? And I said, you know, when you're a kid, you didn't want to come home and be saying, Mom, we got a bake sale and they want you to make those persimmon cookies. So let's take these cookies over to the oven and I will put them in and let them cook for 15 minutes and then come back and let you guys see what they look like. Don't they just look scrumptious? Good. Alright, you guys, they are out of the oven and look how they look. Don't they look just scrumptious? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these cookies into this container. So let me bring you on down so y'all can see what I'm doing. So they are so nice. I could probably just pick these up with my hands and put them in there. And then what I'll do is load up the next batch and put them in the oven. And we'll leave one out so they can cool and I can come on camera. Whew, getting a little hot now. Come on camera and I can, we can taste it together. I think the next batch, I'm going to put a pecan right on the top of it. So let me keep this one out. We'll put this one over there so it can cool off. And let's put the lid on, because cookies always taste better when they have time to, you know, sweat a little bit. So let's get our spoons. And let's get to putting our next layer. Spray it really good. This house smells so good. Let's get our next batch of cookies on here. used to have my little scooper, but I've brought up using 2 spoons, so when I use that scooper, it just doesn't seem like it's right. Because you know when you're brought up cooking a certain way, and then you try to use like a new technique to it, or a new item, it just doesn't seem like you're doing the recipe justice. So I didn't make a lot of dough because, you know, Miss Renee is trying not to eat too much of the good treats. But these, I didn't put a lot of sugar in here. And you can modify the ingredients however you want, or you could use like an alternative sweetener. I just chose to use that white sugar, but my mother used to use maple syrup. She used to do brown sugar. Whatever she had in the kitchen was what she made her cookies or she cooked with. Because in those days, you had to cook whatever you had in your kitchen. Especially if you didn't have time to get to the grocery store. So, and you had to learn how to switch up. If you didn't have one ingredient, you had to figure out what was another comparable, another ingredient that would work just as well. And that's what my mom did. And all mothers. And that's how I learned how to think quick on my feet. If I ran out of something, I'd be like, what would be another good substitute for that? And that goes with any part of your life. You have to be quick on your feet. Alright, so I am going to put some almonds on the top of these, and I'll be right back. Here I'm saying almonds when I mean pecans. So let's just stick a pecan in the middle. Because if you're a pecan lover like Miss Renee is, you will want to put pecans on everything. Everything. I even like almonds. I like, peanuts. Cashews are my ultimate favorite. Put some, I wonder what these would taste like if it was pistachios. That would look so cool. So we are just going to pop these on top. I need one more. Alright, and we're going to stick these in the oven. Alright, and I'll come back with our taste test. Guys, the other batch of cookies are done. And these are the ones that I put the almonds on. Don't those look delicious? Oh my goodness. So good. So let's put them in our container. Let's put them in our container so we could have our taste test. Ah, childhood memory. I am having the best day ever. Alright, so let's get these in our container and then we'll have our little taste test. Look at that. Up close and personal. Look at that. Delicious. Just going to stick them in our little container. These are almost like gingerbread cookies. But the one thing I have to tell you, you have to like persimmons. And persimmons need to be like squishy, like jelly. Because if you have a persimmon that is like hard, it is not going to have the sweetness that this Fuyu persimmon needs. And that's what I used in these cookies were Fuyu persimmons. So you have to like persimmons. You have to make sure they are super squishy. And they have to be non-astringent. cookies. All right, let's take, I'll keep this one out and we'll use that as our taste test. All right, and put the cover on this one so they will stay nice and hot. And let's get this cookie here off the cookie sheet. And we'll put it over here. You know you're comfortable when you're walking around your house and you got your little socks on and you just chilling. This is a perfect snowy day to be in the kitchen making something scrumptious, delicious. So I have my cookie. I chose to get the one that has the pecan on it. And you always have to have something to wash it down with. So this is my almond milk. And so guava and to a delicious cookie. I always have to take a drink of whatever I'm drinking first. All right, you guys ready? First, let me break it so you guys can see how soft it is. See if it'll focus. Look at that. See how soft that is? And look how spongy it is. You want it to be spongy. Because it's almost like I said, like a gingerbread cookie. Tastes so good. Now you can really taste the all the seasoning of the cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and the pecans in here. And look at the back of the cookie. Golden brown and not too crispy. And that's the way you like it. So if you guys haven't ever made persimmon cookies, you need to get some good persimmon ones, because look at these. So these how it looks. And I have tried putting these persimmons as they recommend in order to ripen them in a brown paper bag with the banana, because the gases of the banana is supposed to help ripen the persimmons. But as you can see, this one is starting to shrivel up and it's not, you know, too ripe. Now this one here, you can tell by the darkness of the color. See how light this part is? And then this side over here is a little darker. And you can tell by squeezing it. So I'll still try to ripen these because I got them in a bowl right here. Still trying to ripen these few right here. But I'm just so happy that I had enough that ripened in time to make my persimmon cookies. So good, you guys. So good. So you know what I'm going to be doing today is enjoy my persimmon cookies with my almond milk. And hoping that you guys will try this recipe too. So if you haven't, subscribe to my channel. You know what to do. Give a girl a thumbs up if you like this content of me cooking in the kitchen. Or if you want to see Miss Renee cook more in the kitchen, let me know down below. And with that, I'll leave you with have a blessed day from Miss Renee. We'll see you in the next video. You have to try these cookies. Look at that. So good, so good. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.